Hey guys, Jeremiah here trapping today, and I want to talk to you about the Paws-I-Trip pan system. So what I have here is a number 14 jump trap. This is basically the number 4 Oneida jump with teeth on the jaws. And this is what we use in Maine primarily for baited foothold sets for under ice beaver trapping. The number 14 jump is a really old trap. It's been around forever, and it has accounted for a whole heck of a lot of beavers over the years. The teeth are very critical to holding the paw in place when the beaver is caught, and so you don't have the pullouts that you often have on other traps. I've used brand new number 4 Duke coil springs 4-coiled and had pullouts. Or I had one pullout the first time I used those. I've never had a pullout in one of these. These are a really good trap. Now, the only issue is these are old traps. They're not made anymore, and they've been around for a long time. But when they were originally produced, there wasn't a lot in the way of innovation and technology and all the things that have advanced in the trap industry. So there are some drawbacks to this trap, and primarily the biggest drawback that I have is the pan system. So as you can see, the pan here is basically, it's a pretty good sized pan, and it's just kind of attached with a single metal arm here that goes in, that's kind of pinched into this cross member that's attached to the base plate of the trap. And the pan has all kinds of wobble in it, okay? So it can move from side to side, it can move like this, it can wiggle, and you can't adjust the pan tension. It's just kind of loose where it's attached to the cross member here. You could do a little bit in the way of bending the dog up and maybe filing a notch in the dog and in the pan. You can change the pan tension a little bit, but for the most part it's not really that adjustable. What's the problem with that? Well, there's a lot of opportunity for a beaver when they're working a set or moving around an area near the trap. There's a lot of opportunity for them to hit the pan when they're not in a position to be caught securely. So if this pan has no tension and it wobbles a little bit, maybe a beaver comes by with a stick or something, or brushes up against it, and it turns the pan sideways a little bit. And then the pan is not really a good platform to be stepped on by another beaver or that beaver the next time around. What if the beaver comes up from underneath and kind of brushes the bottom of the pan and pushes it up just a little bit? Could do the same thing. Beaver could come by and just skiff on the pan a little bit and cause the trap to fire and set off, and the beaver's not in a position to be caught, so it doesn't get caught. There's a potential a lot of times you go back to check your sets and your trap's fired and there's nothing in it and you don't really know what happened. I think in a lot of cases that could be tied to the lack of tension on the pan and maybe the pan just kind of malfunctioning. So there is a way, even though these traps are not made anymore, a lot of people like myself like to use them because they're a good trap outside of the pan issue. There is a way to upgrade these with a new system to have kind of a modern type of trap pan. So you get the best of both worlds. You get the old school design with the teeth and the strong springs, and you also get a fully adjustable pan with no wobble. This is called the Paws-I-Trip pan system, and it's a guy, M-Y Enterprises, a guy named Ed Medvets. His email address is emedvetz@verizon.net. And he's a real innovator in the trapping industry, and he's kind of an engineering type, and he developed this Paws-I-Trip pan system. So instead of the stock pan that you have on this number 14, this is the replacement pan. And he has pit pan systems for all different kinds of sizes of long spring and jump traps. This is the one that's designed for the number 4 jumps, whether that be the 4 or the 14, they're the same size. And this is called the PIT-BL4. That's the size if you have a 4 jump or a 14 jump, that's the size you're going to use. And the kit is a new pan, As you notice, the pan has 2 posts that attach it to the trap. Comes with a bracket, a mounting bracket, a bolt, and a lock nut, and it comes with a dog. This one is a crunch proof, really rugged, heavy duty dog, and this dog has a night latch filed into it. So this is going to allow you to set your trap, and you're going to have that latch, and it's going to be set nice and secure. You're going to hear the click when you go to set the pan in position, and then you know that the pan is not going to have to travel very much distance before the trap is going to fire, because you know it's set in right in that spot where you can adjust it to latch right on a level position, and there you go. So you're going to have is the ability to have a very crisp pan with good tension that has no wobble in it and is going to fire as soon as it's depressed. But if it's hit or moved around where it's not pushed upon, you know, in a good heavy downward pressure, it's not going to fire or set off. So to mount this, I actually don't have a welder here in the fur shed, so I took this over to a friend who has a shop, and he does a bunch of welding, and he just did a couple quick welds on these. They don't look pretty. I'm going to grind them down here, but basically you just need to, this bracket that the bolt goes through needs to be welded to the underside of the trap. So you just pop out that old pan, you just pop that out. I actually took a grinder and grinded it off and pulled it out. And then you take this bracket, you stick it in that U-shaped depression there on this cross piece. Stick it in there, you weld it in, then the bolt goes through, the nut goes on, and there you have your pan. So all you have to do is screw this down tight to adjust your pan tension. You clamp on your new dog, night latch dog. You got that set, you set your pan tension, you have no wobble, you have an adjustable pan tension wherever you want to set it at. And you've got essentially the best of both worlds. You got this old school trap that really works well and does the job and isn't made anymore, and you also have a very nice, well operating pan from the modern innovation in the trapping world. So that's Paws-I-Trip pan system. You can get them from MedVets. You can also get them from F&T. Paul Dobbins sells them, and a couple other places sell them as well. They vary in price. These are pretty big ones, so the cost of these is about $42 a dozen from Ed. It might be a little more from a dealer, but not so bad when you're talking about, this is about a $25 trap, and if you're making it function that much better, I think it's a pretty good investment. So hope that helped, and we'll catch you in the next video.